This episode is brought to you by Off-Axis Paint. From custom painted helmets to replica helmets to visors, t-shirts, hoodies, and more, visit shopoffaxis.com and use promo code RACEREADY10 for 10% off at checkout. One more time, that's shopoffaxis, AXIS.com, and use promo code RACEREADY10 for 10% off all apparel. Now enjoy this week's episode of the Race Ready Media Podcast.
Race fans, are you ready? You wanted the best, you've got them four abreast. The greatest show on dirt, the World of Outlaw Sprint Car Series.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Race Ready Media Podcast. I'm Hunter, we got Dev and Weston, and as you can see in the bottom right, there is a blurred out face. And if anyone wants
There is another.
There is another. And if anyone wants to take any guesses, you got about 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom. There he is.
It's Tiger Woods.
It's Tiger Woods. It's Braden Renfro. We have added Braden as a co-host to our podcast. He has agreed to become a full-time co-host for it, or with us.
With no pay.
With no pay.
We traded a washing machine to get him.
We traded a washing machine to get him. He punches in bunches.
Pretty good deal, huh?
That's a great deal. But
I needed that washer.
But yes, we have added another face to the podcast to complete our little podcast family, if you will. So Renfro, it's good to have you, buddy. We're gonna jump to you in just a second. Dev, how was your week? You know, it's been a couple weeks before then. You know, since we gotten around to it. So what have you been?
Not too bad. Getting to the finals push here, where it's cramming all my knowledge, getting ready for finals, which is on Wednesday, and then with that hellacious storm we had, like the beginning half of last week. I mean, Amazon it tacked on at the end of the week to where Saturday I had 220 stops. I mean, it legit killed me. And then on Sunday I had 205 to round it out. And luckily I got a day off today. So
Jeff Bezos is not pleased.
He's not.
Not happy. Well, glad to finally be back with you guys for another episode. Let's jump to Weston. Weston, how have you been last couple weeks, buddy? I know it was pretty hellacious over there, and
yeah,
you're part of Oklahoma.
The wind is whipping at about 137 miles an hour right now as we speak.
Yeah.
Did you get the radar on it?
Hang on, let's take a look.
Oh boy.
The wind is currently, the accurate rating right now it's whipping at 35 miles an hour.
There you go. So you're about 100 off. That's okay though.
Only about 102 off, but it feels like it's 100 miles an hour. Anyway, but a lot of storm, a lot of commotion of not getting the podcast done last week because of said storm. Yeah, because of the three of us having concussions and just forgetting.
Yeah, it was.
So yes, we're glad to be back, and
yes.
we've got a spicy episode for you.
We do have a spicy episode. I'll get into a little bit why the podcast was delayed and skipped last week. As soon as we introduce our new member, Renfro, man, dude. You know, we're happy to have you, man. We are very happy to have you.
Dude, you just went full Canadian there.
Oh, my bad. Yeah,
you said we're happy to have you like 4 times.
We're happy to have you, man, dude.
Yeah, for sure. We're happy to have you, you know. I lived up north at one point, so I guess it makes sense. But yeah, we are really happy to have you. I'm gonna say it again. We're happy to have you, and
again,
let us know a little bit about yourself as you quit making me laugh, guys. Gosh dang it, you guys suck. Oh my god, this is staying in, by the way. This is staying in. Just me absolutely butchering Renfro's intro and everything. Goodness,
it's on brand.
It's on brand. But what have you been up to? You know, as of late.
Who are you and where do you?
Yeah, who are you? What do you do? Where you come from? You know, this, that, and the other.
Yeah, so pretty much a washed up micro driver. Ran micros for 5 or 6 years. Got into the racing scene really late. I was 15 when I got in a race car for the first time. Then I kind of gave that up. Went to college, played baseball for 2 years. Had shoulder surgery. Can't
Got
throw a
Tommy
base.
John in both arms.
Both knees.
Yeah.
Can't throw baseball, football, anything more than about 6 times, or I'll probably start crying. But after that, I went full time on the road with Riley Kreisel for a year, and then Garrett Williamson. So I just got out of that, and now I'm an assistant golf professional at Sedalia Country Club.
That's awesome. Well, as I was saying earlier, happy to have you, and we are you guys keep making me laugh and making me lose my train of thought, but it's nice to have.
It's not our fault.
I know it's not, but it's nice to have someone to round out this screen. We had one, and then one in the middle. We were missing that fourth person, and we finally got him. So it was nice that you. Well, not really.
It was long contract negotiations.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Our people were talking to his people.
Yeah,
we finally got a deal done. I think we got screwed.
I mean, getting him.
Yeah, I got a pretty good agent, so
yeah,
he tends to work out some good deals.
His agent is Ace. His agent is Ace Moneymaker from the old NASCAR games.
Ace Moneymaker.
That's the one to have.
Yeah, that's a good. That guy knows what he's doing for sure.
Yeah. Anyway.
But yeah. So to start this off, after we got these intros done, I'm gonna talk a little bit about last week and where the podcast was. There was 4, 5, maybe 3 or 4 days at least worth of storms that rolled through mine, Devon, and Weston's part of Oklahoma. I don't know if you got anything up there, Renfro, but yeah, even Renfro got some up there. But one night we were supposed to record, we all forgot, and then one night we were supposed to record, Weston's power was out, his hamster fell off the wheel.
Yeah, dude, that damn.
Yeah,
that damn
my
hamster. And then one night I was I was tending to some stuff, which is I'm coming to the podcast this week with a very heavy heart, and I'd be remiss to almost not necessarily dedicate this episode, but dedicate a portion of this episode to my cousin Colin. He was his life was tragically taken in a motorcycle accident, so I was going through some stuff that this last week, and I appreciate everyone's patience, but our thoughts and prayers are with his immediate family. Like I said, he's just a cousin. Well, not just a cousin, but he's an extended family member of mine. So his immediate family is. But I was very close with him and his family, so it's tough loss. And he's only about 9 months older than me, so it was a really hard time for me and for my family as a whole. So we appreciate you having full understanding now of what was going on, and I appreciate my boys as well for helping me out through that. So
yes,
so
we try our best.
Yes, rest in peace, Colin. We'll miss you. We really will. And just to kind of keep things in thoughts and prayers. Kevin Bear, he was injured in a micro crash. I think it was 2-3 weeks ago now, maybe.
Yeah, I think it was 2 weeks ago now.
Yeah.
I think he suffered a broken L1, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he's been in a brace. Still has full movement of his extremities. So that's good to hear. And I hate that we're starting out this podcast, very somber like, but I had to get some stuff out there, and we appreciate you guys, being patient with us and letting us do that. So hopefully I didn't overshare with that. I had to explain everything and where the podcast was and everything like that. But to jump ahead here, guys, we finally corralled in Miss Lisa French.
We did the thing.
Yes, we finally got Miss
Lisa
French.
We did the thing that we were gonna promise for like 2 months.
Yes, we did. We finally got her in. So
she was great.
Yeah, she was great. It was awesome. That was we actually tied her down a lot longer than we thought we were gonna get to. We thought it was only gonna be around 30-45 minutes maybe, and I think we got her for at least an hour. I mean,
Pretty
barring
close.
stoppages, of course. There was a couple stoppages in there on my end, of course, but
Way
it's
to fucking go.
it's on par. It's par for the course, boys. It's par for the course. But
I mean,
Par for the course as we talk to the golf guy.
yes, absolutely.
Yes.
70
It helps.
exact.
It helps. You can ask my mom like a 3-word question, and she could talk
Talks
about
for-
15 minutes, dude.
Oh yeah, but
Yes.
I mean that's the point. We just teed her up with questions, and she went
Runs
off.
with it.
Everyone wants to hear her
Mhm.
talk over us at that point. So
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yes.
so
Yes.
so we're probably not going to take over too much of your time right now. We want you to get into the interview. We'll come back and we'll discuss the few things that we have written down for this week's episode, but had to get a few things out to start the episode, introduce our new member and everything like that. So without further ado, Miss Lisa French, everybody. Our next guest on the Race Ready Media podcast got her start in quarter midgets back in 1983. She was Rookie of the Year with the Mara Midget Series back in '89, and she outqualified Donnie Schatz at Knoxville in 1993. Welcome to the Race Ready Media podcast, Lisa French. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. It's kind of cool seeing a sea of Lisa French shirts for
Yeah.
sure.
Yes. Fan
Don't be
club.
mad. I gave them all to them for free. So
Hey, I paid $25 for mine.
what?
I exchanged a Brad Best shirt for hers.
That is true.
You guys are the
I just
real
met Dev.
MVP.
I just met Dev at B-Dubs for mine.
It did happen. Well, guys, Lisa, we're glad we finally got you on. We've been wanting to get you on for forever, and we just have been, I don't even know, we've just been slacking really. We're just trying to get episodes out, but we're happy to finally have you on.
Yeah, I'm so excited to be here and quite honored. I'm a little nervous going after Cole and Greg, not going to lie about that, but we'll see what we can do for you.
Well, I mean, we're just happy to have a guest on as much as, as many times as we can. So we're just happy that you came on with us. So I'm gonna go ahead and get right into the questions if everyone's all right with that, because I have a big question because it's pretty prominent in the racing world. So what was it like being a female racer, back before it was really like a big thing, you see it a lot nowadays, but back then I don't know if you really saw it as much. What was that like, growing up as a female racer? What was that like?
Well, it's interesting because my dad raced sprint cars when I was little, like kindergarten. He only raced for a short period of time. He had an accident where he had to quit. But he continued to have a sprint car, and other people drove it. And I remember at one point, women weren't even allowed in the pits, period.
Wow,
So
Well,
that's
I
how
guess
far racing has come.
that's crazy.
Yeah. But starting in quarter midgets, there were so many girls racing. Like it wasn't a big deal. You were just a kid racing a quarter midget or
Right.
whatever. So there was a little bit of a stigma, or I shouldn't say stigma, but like it was a little bit of like if you won, it was a big deal because you beat all these boys. But when I moved up to midgets and I was the only female, I really did feel like, what am I doing? So and there was a little bit of oh yeah, don't worry about her because she's she's not gonna be in competition.
Right.
So and even when I moved up to sprint cars, I was at a World of Outlaw show, I think in Oklahoma, and an outlaw official came up to me and said, whatever you do, stay out of Sammy Swindell's way, because a girl took him out last night, so he's not going to be. So there was that. But then if you did well, people were the first people to come over. You would always have a line of people at your car congratulating you, or wow, you did really great. And so I don't know. It was definitely an interesting time for sure.
All right, technical difficulties. I apologize, Lisa, for if your first time on the podcast. That's on me. That's on me as the host. But you're
It's on brand.
Yeah, it's on brand. It really is. But you're talking about the outlaw show you went to. Them telling you to stay out of Sammy's way. I just find that crazy that they're gonna come up and say that to you, just like blatantly and flat out just tell you that. Like
Right.
That's wild. Like That
Because
just
you would never, no matter how sucky a guy is, you would never say that to them.
no.
You know what I mean? I think that's where the biggest discussion I've had with people about being a female driver is that I would be willing to bet any female is raced doesn't really want to be known as a female driver. They just want to race.
Exactly.
And so, but you can't avoid the fact that you're still a novelty. And that's probably not a real great word to use, but you know, that you draw attention because there's a minority, you know.
Right.
So if you do well or don't do well, you're drawing attention to yourself. And so how many people have said, oh, so-and-so female driver, she's terrible, she sucks, she's never won. And I said, do you know how many men drivers have never won a race? And can you name them? Do you name them? Do you say, oh, why doesn't he just quit because he's never won a race? So those are the things, like, you get a lot of attention, which it can be great as far as sponsorship and that sort of thing. But in the same token, the spotlight is on you no matter what you do. So whether you have emotion and you get upset and it's like, oh, well, you know, she just thinks she's a badass. But guys do it all the time. There's never anything, people don't really say much about it. So I don't know. Those are the things that, like I said, like at the end of the day, you just want to show up to the track and race and compete. And, but sometimes you get the extra stuff that you don't really want to. So.
Right. Yeah. There's kind of it's kind of like a status quo type deal where it's, you know, a really male dominated sport, at least back in the day. I mean, there's more females coming in nowadays, more, and I actually can call them female drivers. They're just drivers. They are just, at the end of the day, you're all just drivers and you're all trying to, you know, get to the same place. So.
Right.
But,
and I think that is really cool to see a lot of that changing. So because they're gaining the respect and like, oh, they can win or whatever. And they can be as competitive as anyone else on any given day. So that's where I think, yeah, it was hard for me, like I said, because coming from quarter midgets, that wasn't a deal. Like you knew, I mean, there was tons of girls, and I don't know what the statistics would be. I would guess probably 40% of the kids racing were girls. So yeah, a lot of girls were winning because of that. So, so again, like I said, nobody made a big deal about it because you were just kids. We were just a bunch of kids racing. So.
So my question is what made you, or what do you think is the reason those girls didn't go to the next level and race a midget or whatever? Why do you think they were done after quarter midgets? Because you said after you moved up, it was kind of just you.
Yeah. Honestly, I didn't want to move up. So that's kind of an interesting part of my story is that, I mean, because my dad nearly died in a sprint car at Hawkeye Downs in Iowa, which is now asphalt. But it was dirt at the time. And he was bound and determined he was going to break a track record, and he didn't have safety equipment on. He was late to the race, yada, yada, yada. He shattered the part of his helmet out. Didn't have arm restraints on. His arm went over the cage. The cage crushed his arm. They wanted to amputate his arm. They couldn't get permission to do that. So they put steel plates in his arm. He always had double vision, permanent double vision. He was in a coma for like 6 weeks. This is when I was in kindergarten. So while I still loved racing, like I said, my dad continued to have a sprint car, even though he wasn't racing. I didn't want to see anyone race because or that someone I cared about, because I had that fear of what if they died. So my dad was from Lincoln, Illinois, and they had a huge sprint or quarter midget club. And so some of his friends were like, well, why don't you pick, because I have a brother who's 2 years younger than me, and he was racing go-karts. And he flipped it one night and scared the crap out of my dad. And so his friends were saying, well, why don't you put him in a quarter midget? And because they were super safe, the roll cages, the seatbelts, some of that. So he did. And so we were always in Illinois when I would go stay at my grandma's, and my dad's like, well, come to the track. And I was seeing all these other girls racing, and people kept asking me, why don't you race? Why don't you race? I'm like, don't want to. And so finally, then we started racing. So that was a dirt track. And then there was an asphalt track in, but like in northern Iowa, in Cedar Falls by Waterloo. And there was a drag strip there, but every other Sunday they would race quarter midgets. So we would go from Lincoln on every other Sunday. Then we would go to race in Cedar Falls before we go home. And they had what they called a club car. So that was how they would recruit kids racing and whatever. And so they kept asking me, why don't you race? Why don't you race? I'm like, nope, no interest in racing. Don't care. I'll watch all day long. I want to race. And I'm like, it's super safe. No kids have ever died, yada, yada. So they said, why don't you just try it? Just take the club car out, try it. If you don't like it, no big deal. I'm like, all right. I won my first 6 races. My dad's buying me a car. So, we raced, and there's, all different classes in quarter midget. So I kind of went up a couple different classes, and at this one car my dad bought, and we were in Kokomo racing nationals, and I kept spinning out. And
you're a female driver.
Right. And of course my dad's on me and like, what's wrong? And I'm like, I don't, and of course, because we raced dirt all the time, like asphalt wasn't, like the nationals was always on asphalt. And so I'm like, I don't know, like I'm not used to this track. And so he has my brother take the car out, and my brother's like, I don't know how she can drive it. It's freaking, terrible. So he's like, all right, we'll buy you a new car. So he buys me a brand new car, custom built in California. It was called a Rice car. I don't even know. I'm sure they're not still, I don't know if they still build them or not. But Ken Rice was the builder. We flew to California, stayed in his house. He did these films, and he had chalkboard, and every night at dinner we'd eat. And then it was like racing school. And he's drawing racing lines, and he's having me watch film. And then we were supposed to race in Sacramento, and we get there and there's no one there. And so Ken's like, well, looks like it's practice day. And I'm running laps. And this is a dirt track, but it's different dirt. It's like, really dry and hard. And so he's going over, he's getting on my case because I'm not running fast enough or whatever. I was a very shy, me now, but I was very shy as a kid. And that's why I attribute a lot of personal growth came from for me through racing. So he's on me, and I go and sit in his station wagon in the seat, and I'm crying because he's just ripping me. And my dad sat in the front seat, and he turned around and he said, are you okay? And I said, yes. And he said, do you want me to have him stop? And I said, nope. And I went out there and I freaking kicked some ass. And so then, Ken was just like super excited. And anyway, I come back, they ship my car home, and it's a states race in down by St. Louis area. And I don't know if you know the name at all, Tony Renna. He ended up dying in an IndyCar, but Tony Renna was racing. I was supposed to race the heavy class, and he was in the light class. But my brother was racing. We were racing the same engine class, and my dad didn't want us racing against each other. So he had me run the light class, and my brother ran the heavy. So I'm freaking leading this race, like kicking everyone's butt. And because I've come fresh off this Ken Rice racing school, so to speak, and full of confidence. And all of a sudden my car dies, and they can't get it to start, pushing it. And as they're pushing, finally they were like, get her off the track. and they pushed me off the track, and I could see Tony Renna, and we love the Renna family, so this is not about them, but I remember seeing Tony's dad, Joe, was clapping because he knew now Tony was going to win because Tony was running second. And so anyway, I still qualified. I went to the nationals, which that year, this is 1986, and Lincoln actually had the very first dirt nationals for quarter midgets. So it was this that everyone wanted to be there because it was the first, like, oh my gosh, we have a nationals on dirt. And I don't remember how many cars were in my class, but we had the largest turnout in my class. And I laughed everyone up to like second place in my heat race, which then just set me for the A for the rest. So I'm just a kid playing with all these other kids from all over the country the rest of the week, and come to A feature time, and I couldn't take the green, and which was weird because we just had the engine freshened, and so we don't know what happened. We didn't know at the time what happened. Turns out all the oil was drained from my gearbox, so on a brand new engine build. So we pretty sure we were sabotaged, but it was kind of what is a little interesting story is that Kara Hendricks is the one that ended up winning the nationals in that class, and then she ended up dying. So it's like it's a weird coincidence that twice that year I lost a race that I probably should have won for what, what happened with me at the States race was they used duct tape on my coil on the frame, and it got hot. When the coil got hot, it slipped through the duct tape and pulled the plug. So oof. I lost my fire. So, but anyway, so I was at that point, that would have been 14. And so quarter midget, you race till you're 15. And we had a big half midget class there, which was the 2-cycle. And I had already told my dad, I'm like, I'm not moving up. I'm gonna focus on my studies. I'm gonna go to school, blah, blah, blah. I have no interest in being a focus, like, going on. And my dad bought a midget and he didn't tell me. And I was pissed. And I said, I told you I don't want to race it. I'm not moving up. And he's like, okay. And so he put my brother in it. Well, then back then, the other little weird thing is not a big deal anymore, is that you had to be a particular age to race. So my brother was 14 when they take this midget out, and he raced a few races with Mara, and then some people said because they raced quarter midgets with us, they knew that my brother was not 16 because he had to be 16 to race a midget. And so here my dad had this midget, and he comes up to me and he said, please just try it. So we're back to the quarter midget thing. Please just try it. If you don't like it, I promise you I'll sell it. And so I finished off the very end of that season, 88, just a couple races. And then he's buying me a brand new Challenger with a Cosworth. And before it was ready, I raced some indoor races with USAC. But this is how dedicated to racing my dad was, is that USAC was even more strict at that time. You had to be 18 to race with USAC. Because you had to be an adult to sign the pit waiver. And so my dad took us through the court process of being emancipated. So I was emancipated so I could race with USAC.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't she a badass?
Yeah, that's
Yes.
sick. What?
Devin.
Yeah, so I raced some indoor races with USAC that winter, and then we raced the Chili Bowl in 89, and then came to Florida and raced down here the beginning of the year too.
So I have a question. How does it feel to be the first woman to run Chili Bowl? I know we talked about it after Bryson finally was the first female to start, and you were wondering like, am I the first, or, is there somebody else? But after further research, I have found out that you are the first female. So it's been a while. So you've had time to sink in. So I just want to get your thoughts on
I
that.
just thinking. Again, I don't know. I mean, at the time it wasn't, I was 17. I was just a kid racing. So to me, and even then I remember moving up to midgets and I thought, oh my God, I'm like, cause now you've got these national names. Like I was racing Mel Kenyon and Kevin Olsen. And I mean, these people that, are known all over in the racing world. And I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing? But I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I guess it's not a big deal to me. I guess because nobody really knows.
It's just the biggest midget race of all year. And it's no big deal.
Well,
that I'm the first.
back then,
Casual.
Just real casual.
I mean, it was such not a big deal back then that, I mean, I remember sitting in the stands and I mean, you just go sit in the stands and there was plenty of room. So
how many cars were there? Like, roughly?
It was like a 2-day event, I think. It was like a Thursday, Friday, and then finals was like Saturday.
Yeah, as I say, I think it was only three, Thursday through Saturday. Well, there were so little, the car count was so low that we parked our entire rigs inside.
Like
They had truck and trailer, and they had a full court, basketball court for a charity game, and they had the trade show all in, and still left over room. Well, okay, so here's a little bit unknown, like that a lot of people I think know, that originally when the Chili Bowl was being when they were thinking about doing it, my understanding was that they actually contemplated that place is big enough that they were going to build a half-mile track on that upper level. And then you would have pitted on the lower level where they actually have the track.
Oh,
now.
good God.
They decided that was probably not a good idea, that if this midgets got up enough speed and there was, a flip or whatever, they could get out and up into the
rafters.
Yeah,
I'm bringing back a petition. Next year's Chili Bowl's half mile.
We're gonna cut the entries down to 50.
Invite only.
Invite only. There's just a car hanging from the driller.
The Berryhill family and who else was involved? But I know the Berryhills were highly influential in getting the Chili Bowl done. So.
That is crazy. I had no idea about the half mile up top.
That's insane.
Nuts.
But that just tells you how big that building is too. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
It doesn't feel like a half mile walking back and forth all week though.
Saturday it does.
Okay, fair enough. But
Okay, so the amount of alcohol, fumes.
okay, yeah, but I also sleep in my own bed every night. Going there, but
That must be nice.
Regardless. Weston, you're up with the question, brother.
What's it like for Devin to be your favorite son?
that one's great. That one's always great. Who doesn't love Devin? Even if I wasn't his mom. I mean,
Oh.
seriously.
Yeah, I love Debbie. He's a good guy.
It's very wholesome.
Very wholesome.
Yes.
Wow.
He gave me a Lisa French shirt, so
Yeah.
I know I'm a friend of his.
I traded.
Right.
I think everybody, by the looks of it, a lot of us got one.
That's how you know you have a lot of friends.
When you say, hey, we've got leftover shirts. Anyone watching the podcast would like to buy a shirt, hit Devin up.
Yeah.
I have 2 boxes full, so
Like $10 and some shipping. We'll probably have one.
And you
Yeah.
can get yourself one. Yeah, hit Devin up.
Can we put Race Ready Media Podcast on the back now?
No, right
Just
here.
Sharpie it on there.
I'll do it in
Put it
Sharpie.
on the shoulder.
There you go.
RRM.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Devin will autograph them.
There we go. And I'll cross out the thrown back 25, and I'll just do the math to
Whatever
Figure
year
it
it
out.
is.
Whatever year it is.
Yeah.
like it's 28 now. So
Yeah.
And a
Or
half.
that.
yeah, these shirts are 4 years old now.
Yes.
That is
So
crazy.
Nice.
29.
Party.
Yeah. So my last sprint car race was 29 years ago. Or Yeah, 29.
I'm turning 28, so I guess I kind of ruined the party.
Oh,
Sorry.
man.
Way to go,
Way to
Devin.
Dev.
Yeah. Oh, so I didn't finish. So that how I got into a sprint car then was then
Yes.
I was racing midgets, right? And my dad actually started building cars in Iowa, in Pleasantville, so very close to Knoxville. And my midget's sitting in the shop because there's no midget racing in Iowa, and it was a long ways to travel, but yet we're right there by Knoxville. So we were at Knoxville every weekend racing, and my car's just sitting there. And finally I just said, okay, put a sprint car together. And I thought my dad was going to faint. and I said, but I want to race the 360 class, not the 410. And he's like, all right. So he starts building me a car, and so back then they were the little wings. They was the limited class, with the little wings and the really hard tires. They had already painted a wing up and everything. And then he just literally comes up to me and he said, by the way, if you're going to race a sprint car, you're going to race the 410 class.
That's so cruel.
And I said, what? And he said, because if you're going to race a sprint car, you're going to learn how to race it. You're not going to get in the 360 class or limited class, and with that little wing and the hard tire, and learn improper racing, get the habits of what that class would bring, give you. And I go, okay. So Dev, what was my first sprint car race?
Wasn't it Knoxville?
Where?
Nationals, wasn't it?
No. It was 92.
Oh, it was with the Outlaws.
Outlaws. Mm-hmm.
Your first 14.
My very first 410 sprint car race was in Knoxville, Iowa, with the World of Outlaws. And I'll never forget Steve Kessler going, woo! In my heat race, I was like, oh my God. What am I doing?
Is that the other
what
cars?
What am I doing? There were people like, oh my God, you're going to kill your daughter. And he goes, nope, she's going to learn. Like, throw her out to the best.
Oh my
gosh.
That kind of felt like, that felt like me with the midget, like show up to Creek. I mean, like, granted, it was a Power Ride West show, but everyone's like, how many laps does Devin have in a midget? And Wayne's like, none. They're like, you're taking him to, he's like, that's what Hall Up's for. He'll figure it out. I'm like,
yeah.
I don't know what any of the shock knobs do. Like,
sink or swim.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say, my first laps in a sprint car were hot laps at Lawton. So it's not comparable to anything like what you guys just said, but I
mean, but it's weird. Like, there were things that my dad was very particular about. Like, back when I was racing, weight was not really a thing. So we had 120 wall, that the bottom rail was 120 wall, like probably freaking would have killed us. We'd had a bad wreck. Now that, like you understand the physics of racing and that sort of thing. So, but he was all about safety. Like, we had double layer suits with fireproof underwear. All the safety. And there were tracks that he would not allow me to race at. Eldora was one of them. In the midget, I could not race at Sun Prairie, and I could not race Belleville.
Belleville.
Darn it.
Yeah. Belleville. You just say darn it.
Yeah, dude. Belleville's badass.
It is. When I first went, as an adult spectator, I was like, holy crap, now I know why my dad wouldn't let me race. Yeah. I mean, they have numbers in the corners just so you could tell where you're at, It's crazy.
It's fun.
Yeah. Crazy.
It is. It's pretty damn big.
Yeah, I wish I would have got to go there. But
yeah.
You can go watch 305s there.
Can
Oh
you,
my God,
though?
stop.
Is that really that much fun?
Do you really want to go watch a 305 at Belleville or a midget at Belleville? Yeah, that's what I thought.
I have a hard time watching 305s at Lake Ozark.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, but
do you want to give us a quick recap of what happened at Devil's Bowl in been 93 or 92?
Yeah, it was 92. Well, there really isn't much to say.
Yeah, it lasted about 50 feet, I think.
Yeah. And people explained to me about the, uphill, downhill thing. And Like it's going to feel like you're, tight going in one corner and loose in the other and whatever. So did all right. I was starting on the pole of my heat race and starting.
I thought you were outside front row because
yeah, maybe I was outside. He was.
You
on
said
the
you
inside.
looked over to see who it was, and you're like, "Holy shit! I don't even see somebody's fucking helmet." And comes to find out it was who?
Shane Stewart.
Shane.
We come for the green flag drops. No joke. I could see the peripheral of coming, and I could just see the tires turn literally into me. And next thing I know, I'm in the wall and I'm flipping down the straightaway.
Shane Stewart jumped my mom.
And so then I had
Thanks,
the
Shane.
moment of where I'd always thought guys were stupid for wanting to fight someone when they get crashed, and I was like, "Where is that guy?"
2 weeks.
Two
That's 2
weeks.
weeks.
The funny thing is that at the time, which I don't know how old he was, but this was, I think, his rookie year, and he was. I don't know if he even came up to my shoulder.
Shane?
We're standing at the payout window, and there's these other guys from Oklahoma. They're asking me like, "What happened?" And blah blah blah. And I go, "I don't know." Like he just kind of drove into me. They go, "Oh yeah, the guy's out of control." And so turns out he's standing like in front of me, and he turns out, he just looks at me. I was like, ugh.
Yeah, well,
But-
2 weeks.
But the funny Jack Miller, who was a beloved announcer at the Nationals for many years, and I believe he was from Texas or somewhere in the South. He was announcing that night, and he had announced. He always did the MC work for the Queen contest, which I had been in the Queen contest for a couple of years, and so when I of course I don't know this, right? But my dad always buys the film, the videos and whatever. And so we get this VHS tape and we're watching it after I crashed. Jack Miller says, "Lisa French, cute as a button." Or he said, former Queen contestant, just cute as a button. And I thought, well, that's why there was like all these guys down there buying my t-shirts after the race. So like, why are these people buying my shirt? I freaking crashed. Like, I totally wadded it up. So,
Oh goodness. Okay, so my question is, can you give us a rundown of this burner of a lap that you laid down at Knoxville to outrun Donnie Schatz?
I have no idea.
That is so insane. You got.
I don't know if that was.
Donnie.
I don't know if that was the year. There was one of my nationals too that I passed a driver from California on the outside, and oh my gosh, everybody was just
Big cojones.
Kevin Pilot or something. I don't remember his name, but apparently he was pretty good in California. And I passed him on the outside, and people were like, "Oh my gosh, you passed him on the outside." And I was like, "Oh, I guess I'm improving." So that's cool.
Yeah.
We're getting better. We're getting better here. That's crazy.
What's your best finish at Knoxville? Like not nationals, but like what's your highest finish or was?
I never made the A feature. Maybe, I don't know. It was towards the top of the B, like maybe 5th or so. I think what was kind of cool. I want to say that was the Lions Club night they sponsored, and they gave like an additional, like, I don't remember exactly how they would pick the position, but they would, they decided instead of giving the money that they were donating for the night to the winner, they would pick like somebody further back. And so I get to the payout window, and I have this extra check from the Lions Club, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. And so I bought like new fireproof underwear and stuff with it. So I sent them this thank you card saying, your whatever, it was less than, I think, $200, but I said, this is what I did with the money. It means so much to me, blah, blah, blah. And they said, because of your thank you card, we will never give the money to the winner again. Like, because now they realize that it's valued more to someone who finishes further back. So,
yeah, I mean, everyone needs a helping hand at some point, right? I mean,
yeah,
that's nuts. Oh my god. This is interesting stuff. I'm hearing.
I know.
I mean, I mean,
The half-mile chili bowl is
yeah, what the heck? I'm still puzzled by that. Lisa's just dropping knowledge on us. Like, oh,
I
yeah, it
know.
was supposed to be a half mile. Was it?
a
What?
half-mile chili bowl.
I don't know what it was supposed to be, but they talked about it. Apparently, they thought about it.
talked about.
That is insane.
That's just
Did you drop a triple double in the basketball game at Chili Bowl?
oh my God, Devin.
I never played in the basketball game, but I played in that softball game at the Nationals.
Oh, come on, Mom.
Soft-
And remember, Sammy and so, oh my gosh, Steve Kinzer's kid and Sammy's kid, Kevin and
Craig.
Craig.
oh my God. They were outfielding with me. They were so little. They were
That's
out
awesome.
with me.
That's
Yeah.
insane. That's
That is
incredible.
awesome.
That's awesome.
At a charity big softball game during the Nationals.
That is crazy. So this was like when you were and they were way young, right?
Yeah, so that would have been. I think it was in '93 because I
Yeah.
had those shirts and the announcer said something about my shirt or whatever. So
Yeah, so they
Yeah.
were way young. That's crazy.
so they were probably I don't think they were really young. Yeah, early grade school.
That is nuts. And then where did Craig finish at Bristol the other night? Was it third?
He ran third.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now look at the
One
guy.
night.
I mean,
Yeah.
and then Kevin doing his thing. I mean,
Four
Yeah.
Chili Bowls.
4 chili
that's
bowls.
crazy. Yeah,
Craig's won a nationals.
Craig's won a national.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And
Maybe-
she's just playing outfield with him at a charity softball game. What
Yeah.
a deal!
The
Yeah,
real
but
field of dreams.
what's kind of cool too is that it's like almost full circle because when I was their age, I was hanging out with Steve Kinzer's wife and Doug Wolfgang's wife and that sort of thing. When my dad was racing with the Outlaws, so like in the mid 70s, 76,
No,
78. I'm sorry, it's like 78. So,
Mhm.
so yeah, like I was that age with their, it's really racing. The
circle.
racing family is so cool. Yeah.
it is. It's really cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's what do we say? It's like such a small pool of us, but it's like just like a big world of all of it. Like we all tie into somehow in some way.
some way we tie into each other. Like,
Someone knows somebody who knows somebody.
yeah, that's
Right.
that's how I met all of you guys. I'm pretty sure. So, someone knew.
Me
Someone.
and Brad crashed into each other.
Yeah, except I still didn't know who you were back then.
Thanks, Hunter.
Sorry, I didn't. I mean, I didn't meet you till it really met. Regardless.
When did we?
I-
Anyway, yeah, that doesn't matter.
we'll talk about it later. But Debbie, I know you got more questions.
Oh gosh, I'm kind of drawing a blank right now.
Renfro.
Oh, I got one.
Yeah, there you go.
What are some good DMJ stories? What do you know about DMJ?
DJ.
Well, he actually, I want to say we were rookies. I don't think the same year. I think he was a rookie the year before I was. So his wife was like one of my best friends. And we became grandparents together the same year. So I love Dean. I love their family. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, when I worked, Garrett is dating Cam, so I was around DMJ a lot because he's with Chris now. So we spent all of our Florida trip with him, and he's such a good dude.
Yeah.
His mom babysat me in
That's right.
Dell.
Yep. The one, the chili bowls we went, Wayne and I went to, Devin and Delaney was left at Dennis's mom's.
That's crazy.
Grandma Hetty, they call her. So yeah. Yeah. I love the Moore family.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I'm drawing a blank myself.
I'm drawing a blank also.
There's so many questions. There's so many questions I had earlier today, and I wish I would wrote them down because I was bored at work. I'm trying to think back.
So, I mean, you raced against Sarah Fisher and stuff like that, right?
No.
I thought you ran against her like maybe in Knoxville.
No, I was Melinda Dumsney is the only female I raced with at Knoxville. So Max Dumsney's wife. So he's the Australian multiple champion, and they actually raced my dad's, like Max drove for my dad one year. So that's how we got to know them. And then but yeah, they have like they have how many kids, like 5 kids or something.
You
Mitchell and-
babysat some of them, right?
I babysat the 2 oldest, Mitchell and Michaela.
It's
And
just a small world.
Mitchell's running nationals now, I think.
Is it Marcus running it too?
Or yeah, it's Marcus now.
Yeah, I just saw
Marcus.
something about Marcus online.
Mhm.
So.
Yeah, see, it's a small world. Racing is a small world.
Yes,
It's a
very,
big world,
very
but
small.
it's a small world. Yeah, okay. I do remember a question. Do you have like a favorite, like, I hate using the term female driver now. I hate it, but do you have a favorite female driver right now? Like that you look at and you're like, she's doing good things. She's doing like I love watching her. Like, do you have anybody that like stands out to you?
Well, it's probably not a very fair answer because I know this sounds really weird, but I don't keep up with racing a lot.
That's fair.
So there's a lot of drivers I would not even be aware of. So I love to see them do well, but the only one that I'm really aware of really what she's doing, like intimately doing, is McKenna Hasse. So,
Okay.
and I would say in a way, like, I mean, we are friends. So, I mean, when she won her first race at Knoxville, I had tears in my eyes. I was
That's
sitting in the stands, and
I witnessed
I
it.
mean, the entire place I'm just getting goosebumps thinking about it. Like the energy came when she came across that finish line was just unreal. And it's not really a big secret, I guess, that I've gone to bat for her when people have not been so kind and thought she was cheating, and that was the only way she could have won was because she was cheating. And it really frustrated me because I'm like, I felt like you wouldn't say that if she was a guy.
Yeah.
There were people saying Knoxville uses her for marketing, and that's just because she's a girl. And I go, do you see her trailer after the races? People are lined up for an hour just to get her autograph. And it's all little kids. That is what we need in this. Whether you like her or not as a person, she is doing for this sport what we need, and that's getting the younger generation excited about racing. So good on Knoxville for using that. Like, why would you? They would be stupid not to promote her. So those things really irritated me. And then, I had a conversation with, she had won in the 305 class, but she hadn't won in the 360 class. And I was like, that's where I was saying, so what? Like, do you know how many people that you are probably even in the Knoxville Hall of Fame, not necessarily not national, but the Knoxville Hall of Fame, and they probably have never won a feature. So why are you condemning her just because she hasn't proven herself? Like, I don't understand that. And then she won that, like, right after that, I had this conversation with someone, and then the rumor started about she was and that Knoxville was turning a blind eye to it, and they were letting her cheat. And so I would tell those people, I said, well, if you really feel that strongly about it, then you need to go to the fair board. Like, I don't know what you feel you're doing. Like, you're not helping. If that's really what you believe, then it's not going to fix anything if that's really what's happening. So you quit running your mouth about it and do something. So it was funny because I had moved here to Florida the end of 2018. And when I returned for the first time to Iowa, I reached out to McKenna. I said, hey, I know you're super busy, but I really would like to touch base with you while I'm at the Nationals. And so we spent some time talking behind her merchandise trailer, and unbeknownst, because I think at that time she was still being really quiet about it, but she literally did in the same token. Like, I mean, mine had nothing to do with racing, but it was following my dream and going for it. And she had basically, and it's weird, like, to see what she's done in her life at 25 years old right now. Like, so at this point she's 20, when I'm talking to her, she's 23 or 22. And so she was the same, basically she's the same age as my daughter. So 2 years younger than Devin. And I'm like, she up and just moved from Iowa to chase her dream. She moved to Indianapolis because she knew if she really wanted to make it in racing, that's where she needed to be. And she just like, leap of faith, I'm going for it. And I was like, this girl has got it. Like, she's got it. And she has a foundation. She teaches, I mean, just the mere amount of kids that she mentors at English Creek in Knoxville and what she's done, like the stories that come from that, like taking some kid that maybe isn't going to ever have a chance to race, and she funds that, and she's got how many cars? Probably 6. I don't know. Lots of cars, kids. She's funding it all. At 20, in her early 20s, she was doing that. So now she's a whole nother level where she's got this foundation, and she's got race camps. Like just a few months ago, she's got NASCAR drivers and they're holding these classes for these kids and getting them super excited about racing, and kind of like what the NFL does. You know what I mean? She's freaking doing that. So it's like, whether you think she's talented or not behind the wheel, she's freaking got everything else going on. So, and maybe that's what people are jealous of. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what it stems down to. It's probably a little bit of jealousy, you know, just because she's.
Lisa just went in on you.
Yeah, just went in. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I mean, and she's a freaking ninja, like
American Ninja Warrior.
It's literally a ninja.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
so.
cool.
Anyway, I love her. I'll always defend her. I call her kind of like my little sister, which is a little weird because, like I said, she's Tony's age. But
If
I
she
used to
doesn't
race-
tune
I
into
used
this
to race-
episode,
She better listen to this episode.
I'm gonna be
Nah,
disappointed.
Yeah.
I used to race micros against her at Sweet Springs.
Did you really?
Yep.
See, small world. Real small world. Racing is a small world, but
She used to call Gunner and I her little brothers.
oh, that's
You
right.
could have went to her school, damn it.
I would have made me a better race car driver. I probably wouldn't be
would've.
sitting on the podcast right now.
Stick to golf.
It's either on the podcast or at the clubhouse, whichever. Yeah, it's just nice. It's just nice seeing how far, you know, racing's come with the diversity of, you know, these female drivers coming in. You got Kaylee Bryson, you've got McKenna, you've got
Reimer.
Taylor Reimer, and,
Mhm.
and you got all these girls come up through the ranks, and it's only drawing more attention to the sport.
right. Right.
You know, they're making news, they're making this, that, and the other. I mean, with Kaylee being the first female to start the Chili Bowl A main, I know that drew a big headline, big crowd. Everyone wanted a T-shirt that night. So, it's
I mean,
just,
she made a Toyota commercial after that. I
did she
mean,
really?
Yeah.
I never saw that.
It was like Toyota I don't know if it was like
It was a
racing
TRD
deal.
commercial.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Mhm.
cool. So
Yeah.
yeah, see, like, it's come a long way in its diversity, and it's definitely moving in the right direction. I love where it's at and love where it's headed. So and I think it's people like you, Lisa, and McKenna, and everybody that have spearheaded this whole thing to where, you know, it's more than acceptable for anybody to race. You know, male, female, whichever. It's just it's really awesome the way that's all. It's, you know, because they're gonna put on a show regardless. I mean,
Right.
I mean, because everyone wants to see a driver. They're the driver, and like you said, they're gonna be under a microscope all the time just because of it. But at the same time, it's like, watch them go out and kill it, and then now where's your microscope? Where's your microscope at? You know, like what do you want to nitpick after, you know, like it's just it's nice where racing is at now with its diversity, and I love that.
Absolutely.
I do feel like more and more you see your local micro tracks, especially like Port, Sweet Springs, 44. If you look at the younger class, like junior sprints, I feel like you see 6 to 10 female drivers in those, like, coming up and getting into restrictor. Like, there's a lot of them now that are like actually doing it, and it's changed so much. Like Lisa said she was the only one to run a midget like when she ran it. So like you can definitely tell over time that girl drivers or guy drivers, it doesn't really matter. They're being influenced by somebody to
Right.
push to want to be a race car driver, which is cool
Yeah.
to see.
There were some I did have another. I just wasn't always. I was usually the only female at the track. There were
Yeah.
There were others,
hit
but
miss, but
yeah.
yeah. So like, yeah, when I went to Chico last fall, there were. I was surprised at how many female drivers were there, and then it was cool. It is cool,
Yeah,
and
it's really cool.
I even hate it for myself to think, oh my gosh, that's so cool. You know what I mean? Because
Mhm.
but I think it's just. I think it's more of I'm glad that they feel confident enough to get in it. You know what I mean? Like that's I think what's the cool part.
Yeah, it just shows the real confidence in a driver, you know, for them to make that jump into like a midget or a sprint car or something like that. It just shows real determination. I love that. But it's got to be really cool to know that you're one of the pioneers of you know.
You laid the groundwork.
Yeah, you laid the
He's
groundwork. That's got to be
the
really,
Neil
it's gotta be
Armstrong
something
of
special.
female racers.
Yeah, it's got to be something
Yeah.
special.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It is. I hate to. I do love it when people kind of remember me racing or whatever. But like I said, like it's funny to me because they make it sound like I was something really, really great, and I'm like, it wasn't really that good. But the same token, I didn't really race. Like I raced not like one, and Mara's schedule wasn't heavy, so I raced one season with them, and then I was off like a couple years, and then I raced not even a full season in 92 because it took a while for my dad to get a car together. And then I was every once in a while I'd race my brother's car. And then in 93, there was so much rain, like we rained out like almost the half the season. So, you know, I kind of joke like, well, between 92 and 93, I had one season in the sprint car. So I try not to be too hard on myself because I think, well, if I continued on, I'm sure I would have done much better. But it's just, but I think it's because people were just so shocked to see a female in the sprint car in a 410 of all things that it didn't take much for them to go, oh my God, you did really great. I was like, no, I didn't. So yeah. But it is cool. I don't know. I've been around racing basically my entire life. And now like, you know, having Devin racing and I think it's kind of it sucks that my dad isn't here to witness that because he would be so
It's
proud.
probably a good thing because he'd probably kick my ass.
Yeah, that's
Nah.
another question that's another question I had. Whenever you watch Devin race, do you like critique him at all? Like
No, you know what? It breaks my heart because I live so far away. And I've told him, he knows that I'm like, someday I'm going to be there. Because I haven't been at the track since he was little, racing at English Creek. And I'm like, I would love nothing more than to be in the pits and just talking lines or, you know, how's the car feel or working on his car. I mean, I know how to work on it. So it's going to happen someday, but
yes, it is. And we're all going to be there.
Yeah, we're all gonna be there. We're all gonna
all of
be
Lisa
there.
French shirts.
Yes, Lisa French shirts.
These are crew shirts for the night.
Yep.
Yeah.
I got plenty of them, so if you get them stained and dirty, I'll get you.
There you go.
Reimburse us.
Exactly.
There you go.
So, I mean, that Weston kind of asked what I was going to ask you, but kind of going back to where you said, like, it makes you nervous knowing that somebody that you are dearly close to, like, being in a race car and stuff, because, I mean, we all know that racing is a very dangerous sport, but, like I know when I would text you, like, hey, like, I'm on the way to I-44, I'm going to Creek tonight. Like, I mean, what would you, like, how would you handle that? I mean, I know we did our best with trying to Facebook Live it, but I mean, there were some nights it was literally just me. So it's like, I can't really Facebook Live and do this. But I mean, like, I know there was one night at 44, like the feature lasted like 45 minutes. And I finally texted you and you were like, geez, like, holy like, I literally thought there was something wrong. Like,
yeah. And I can't remember the details, but I remember I kept trying to find their updates on Twitter or something like that. Cause I was just tell me how he finished. Did he finish? Did he crash? What happened? So
That's those mom
Um,
instincts.
I think that's the hard part with the type of racing you're doing, is that the information is harder to come by, where a lot of other racing you can find, you can watch, stream it, or you can
Yeah.
find some sort of information or whatever. But yeah, I actually think it's probably a little easier because I'm not as attached. I don't know, like being a little further away allows me to just kind of busy myself with other things and just wait for, oh, he's going to go out on the track now. And then I don't have time to really be nervous. So, but I also know you're pretty smart guys. So
You want to know the last thing I do before I get in the car?
what?
I text my mom, going out for the feature. Love you. Put my phone away.
Aww.
Aw,
Yeah,
see, look at
see?
that.
Why wouldn't you love Devin?
See, it's hard
Yeah,
to
that's
not
true.
love the
Good
guy.
guy.
Hard to
He's a
not love
good
the
guy.
guy.
Why don't you text me that?
Yeah, you don't
I
ever
didn't
give
know
us
you did.
updates.
You should just have a group text.
Yes.
Oh, you
Yeah.
do not want that, Mama.
Oh, you might. Oh, you might. All Weston will
God.
do is meme in it, so it's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Anyways, yeah. Ah, man, I think I'm drawing a blank on questions.
Are we at a good stopping point?
I mean, there's gonna be another time. There's gonna be
Yeah.
another time where you come back on, Lisa. But I'm out of questions at the moment.
I can
Yeah.
clarify why I said my grandpa would kick my ass if he was still
I
here.
would love to hear that.
So, like she mentioned before, where he got injured in that accident, Hawkeye Downs, it was in a non-wing car. So his one rule was like, you cannot run non-wing to my mom and brother. So what do I want to do most is run non-wing
Run
and
non-wing.
midget. So
Yeah,
he would
dude.
definitely put a boot in my ass, I'm sure.
So yeah, I can't. I don't like non-wing racing personally either. So that's
Yeah.
I
mean,
I
guys.
don't know.
I'm not sure he was necessarily opposed to non-wing racing, but definitely if you're on the track, you got all your safety equipment on,
Yeah.
all of it.
Yeah, Devin.
Well, I don't wear arm restraints, so
Oh no.
dude, I
That
can't.
You
would be
shouldn't
what
have
he'd
said
get on
You
you
shouldn't
about.
have said that. You shouldn't have said that. Now
Well, I
she's-
can't
now
lie to my mom.
Well, now she's gonna whip. She's gonna whip you now.
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh man.
God.
All right, boys. Any last few questions? Renfro, you good down there?
So what are you doing now in Florida? And since you're kind of walked your way out of the racing scene, I guess.
Walked off in the sunset.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I've just been focused on my own stuff. I'm working towards writing a book about my dad, and getting ready to launch a business where I'm going to do what they call empowerment coach. So I'm going to teach people how to transform their lives into doing the things that what is your dream, and this is how you can make that happen. So I think a lot of my life is testimony to, even if it just accidentally happened, I'm like, oh, I did that. And so anyway, I'm working on that, but I actually almost put on the t-shirt of Jonathan Cornell because it was super cool. Last Nationals, I was asked by Mark Roberts to write a story about Jonathan. Well, not about Jonathan Cornell, but the team that he was racing for, and the magical story that came from this team, where the owner was had been diagnosed with terminal cancer. And so Lee Nelson, who builds Ostrich racing engines, he was friends of Marty, who the guy that has cancer. And he said, Marty, what's the one thing you would like to accomplish in life before you die? And he said, own a sprint car. And they said, and they kind of laughed about it. So Lee thought he was kind of kidding, but he said it just kept coming up. So Lee's like, I got a car, like his son had raced, and he gets Tony Morrow involved, and Matt ends up putting the car together over the winter. And so we're like, okay, so they went to some of Marty's friends. So Marty is an attorney in Des Moines. And so they went to some of his friends and they got sponsorship, and they're like, okay, so now we need a driver. And so they tell Marty, we got this car together. We're going to go racing. You're going to be the owner. And so he said he let Lee pick the driver. Well, Jonathan has raced ostrich engines.
Mm-hmm.
So he talks to Jonathan. Jonathan's like, he was super busy with his powder coating business, but they were going to race the sprint Invader series. So it was limited amount of racing. And he's like, that'll work well. So he meets Marty, they shake hands, let's go racing. They had some rainouts, and then the first race, I don't remember where the track was, but the first race they were at, they couldn't get the car to fire. And so they never raced that race. Get the car back to the shop, find out it had like the pickup line and the fuel tank was messed up. So they get that fixed. So their actual very first race, actual first car on the track, he's like, they were in Benton, Iowa, get the car on the track, going well, feels really comfortable. They won the feature.
Oh.
The very first race, this team all comes together to make this guy's dream come true to own a sprint car. Marty's been like this massive sponsor of racing. Like he's sponsored midgets, he's sponsored different sprint cars, he's sponsored like fuel things for like with Casey. He's like teamed up with Casey's to do like travel vouchers and stuff like that. So very, very involved. So they're all these grown men, and they're like trying not to cry because they're like, we felt like we won the Daytona 500, right? So that was like in July. So Mike Roberts like, Lisa, we need you to write the story. And I'm like really nervous because I know Tony and I know Lee, and I know this is like a very special deal. But I'm a very emotional writer. I would put a lot of heart into what I write. And so I interview everyone, Matt, Lee, Jonathan. And it was weird because when I interviewed Lee and Jonathan, they were separate interviews, but they were both on their way to a race that night. And near Dubuque. And I said, I just had this feeling. And I came very close to telling Jonathan, I think you're going to win tonight. And so the next morning I wake up and I looked and I saw, oh my God, they won the race. So then the next day I interview Marty. And so we're going through the interview and whatever. And I tell him, because he didn't make it the race that night because he had a chemo treatment and he wasn't feeling well. And I said, well, I really appreciate you taking your time to talk to me. I know I could have wrote this story without you, but this story is about you, so it makes it so much easier. And he said, well, why is it about me? So that just tells you about this guy, right? So yeah. He's like, well, why is it about me? And I said, well, he goes, I couldn't, like, this team wouldn't exist without everyone else. Like, I don't know anything about sprint car racing. And I said, well, Marty, because they all came together to do this for you because of everything you've done for them. And I said, so this was their way of telling you, like, paying you back and saying thank you to everything that you've done for them. And you could hear this trembling in his voice. And and I said, I'm going to tell you, these are the words that everyone has used. It's magical, the camaraderie in this race shop, and special, all these words. Everyone is using the same words to describe their experience of this season. So anyway, I was 3 a.m. writing a story because I was on deadline for Mike Roberts. I sent it off to Mike and he emails me back and he goes, Grand Slam, Lisa, Grand Slam. So I got permission to put it on my website. He ran it in the Dirt Digest during the Nationals, and Lee ended up texting me after the Nationals, and he said, I've been super busy, obviously, with the Nationals, whatever. He said, but I'm going to tell you what. He said, you made grown men cry by what you wrote. And so I was like, oh man, just felt so cool. And then they ended up winning the championship for Sprint Invaders.
That's awesome.
So, I mean, the story, it's like one of those made for movie stories, you know, like those, just, you can't make this up. It's so freaking cool. So to me, like, that's what was special about, like, to be connected to racing, but in a different way, because writing's my passion. And to be asked to tell that story about a lot of, I mean, I don't know Marty, but and I really had no, I mean, I know who Jonathan is, obviously, but I don't know him personally. So to have told this very personal story, it was really, really special.
That's awesome.
I actually thought of a question, or a couple. I wanted to throw it back to where you were running midgets and stuff like that. I mean, we lost Kevin Olsen tragically a couple months ago. I know you mentioned that you're pretty heartfelt, you know, hearing that loss of him, but I was wondering if you had any Kevin Olsen stories. I'm sure you have a few.
Well, the first time I met him was when I raced here in Florida at Volusia County. And so I was just 17. I just had turned 17. And still very fresh into the midget world. And we were staying at this motel on the beach, on Daytona Beach. And Kevin was going around to everyone's room, because, you know, like, our room doors are on the outside at a motel. So people just leave their doors open, and we're all kind of just in and out conversing and whatever. And he's running out of people's rooms, jumping on the beds. And he's like, he's the bed tester and whatever. So we were down, there was like a little lounge or whatever, and people were kind of hanging out there. And I really don't remember why I was there. I'm sure my dad was down there talking to somebody. And I'm standing next to him. He's sitting at the bar. So he starts asking me questions. And he's like, well, how old are you? And I said, 17. He goes, well, you wait for me. Wait for me. So, like, it was always his joke for years. I mean, I was married to Devin's dad. We were at the Chili Bowl, and he's still asking me to wait for him. So, and he was married, had, you know, 5 kids or whatever. So, but I was supposed to wait for Kevin Olsen. So just, and at the Chili Bowl, I mean, that was the first time I was really saw his antics. I mean, besides jumping on the bed, you know, he was setting off stink bombs in the driver's seat. We're like, you're trying to focus on what they're saying. And everybody's like, oh my God, like, you can't breathe because it smelled so terrible. So the last night they actually sat him on the picnic table with the official, like, he's sitting, like, basically he's sitting in the front of the class because they're trying to keep him from pulling off one of his pranks. But oh yeah, Kevin, there will never be another Kevin Olsen for sure.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
One more. Scotty Cook.
Scotty Cook.
It's
Scotty
kind of
Cook.
a similar story, I guess, but
Yeah, well, the 1990 Nationals would have been like in between me racing like midgets and sprint cars. And so that was my first Nationals, like, attending, because we didn't go to the sprint car Nationals because we were always racing quarter midgets. And so I was taking it in. I'm getting ready to head off I'm a freshman in college. And so I met John Gibson, I met Scott Cook. They all hung out, Kevin Eckert. And yeah, just he now refers to me as his Nationals ex-girlfriend or something like that.
I'll never
that's
forget
awesome.
the day me and Garrett were in Columbia, and we're like, man, what do we want for lunch? We go to Jimmy John's, and Scotty is running out of Jimmy John's because he's their delivery driver. And he's running out of Jimmy John's, and we're like, Scotty? And he's like, hey guys, I got to deliver. I'll be back. I'm like, yeah.
Okay.
He's awesome. He's awesome. My dad loves him.
He is awesome.
Well,
that
Oh,
wraps it up
goodness.
for me.
This is
I'm
Yeah.
I'm
Wraps
pretty
up for
tapped
everyone.
out now.
Well, Lisa, we appreciate you coming on and chatting with us for a little bit. I think it went a lot longer than I think we
Than we
originally
expected,
planned.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we had a lot of stuff to cover. But whenever you you get your business more established and that book written, we'd love to have you on again to talk about that kind of stuff as well. Whenever
Mhm.
that, so maybe we can get you back on here pretty soon to talk about that kind of stuff. So.
Well, I think, aren't you planning to ride with me to nationals?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I can't ever figure out the logistics of all of it. I know I need to be in Tulsa for Grayson's birthday party before the nationals. So yeah, maybe.
So we can do it in person.
Yeah, we could do
Perfect.
we could do it in person. That'd be cool. Like
He can
Yeah.
be the one to hone down DMJ for us to interview him too.
yeah, there you go.
I'm
Yeah.
sure it'd be really hard for me to twist his arm to do that.
Yeah, of course. But
Oh,
That would
goodness.
be a killer.
that'd be a killer.
DMJ and Lisa on the same.
That'd be a killer.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be wild. But
Yep.
yeah, Lisa, we appreciate you coming on and we appreciate you talking with us for so long.
We appreciate you being our number one fan also.
Yes, that too. We appreciate you being our number one fan. We
I have watched all the episodes.
Thank
Finally.
you so
Real one.
much.
A real one.
I was disappointed that you guys didn't have one last week because I was all caught up.
Yes.
There was some
Yeah,
weather
there
shenanigans,
will
us
be-
forgetting.
There
Yeah.
will be. We will talk about that on the podcast. The away from the interview, but
Yes.
I'll do more explaining on that. But yeah, again, thank you for so much for coming on, and we can't wait to get you back on to talk
Thank you for
about more
having me.
stuff. Of course.
Thank you. For having
So,
me.
anyways, yeah, I think boys, anyone else got anything final to say before we head on out?
Love you, Lisa.
Happy belated Mother's Day.
Yes, happy
Yes.
belated Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Thanks again, Lisa.
You guys are great.
Thank
We
you.
try.
So we hope you guys enjoyed that interview there. We know we did. We had a lot to talk about, and she definitely we teed her up with questions, and she bombed them. So I think I learned a lot more than I realized with that entire interview about just some of her knowledge, let alone her racing career and everything like that. Like how about the Chili Bowl? Supposed to be a half
Dude,
mile. They were talking
Can
about Chili
you
Bowl being a half mile.
imagine?
Dude, that would be so bad.
I kind of wish it was.
I don't.
Same.
don't.
Or like
If it was-
3/8.
Hey, if it was a half mile, I guarantee you it wouldn't get over 100 entries.
I mean,
Yeah.
probably not. But like at the same time, like, dude, people get hurt pretty easily.
That's fine.
Oh my
Screw
God.
it, dude.
Shut up, Devin.
You guys say this
that is
now.
that is a flat half mile. That is a flat half mile.
That's fine.
Odd.
Regardless. Regardless, we hope you guys enjoyed the interview.
Thank you,
So-
Lisa.
Thank you again, Lisa, and we can't wait to get you back on.
Can
So-
we get Lisa in the golf tournament?
I mean-
No, please
okay,
no.
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 Oh,
Okay, never mind.
okay, never mind.
Dude, I found a Pro V1. Like I took her golfing. I found a Pro V1, and I think she finally like lost her first like ball, which was I think it was like came on like the 10th hole. Nah, I'm trying to think because we were at La Fortune Par 3. She lost one ball kind of late in the round, which I was like, whatever. I mean, I didn't care. I had like 50 golf balls in my bag, so I was ready to lose some. And so I find this Pro V1, I put it in the golf cart, and she like hits one like into the water, and she's like, hey, like, can I use this other ball? I'm like, yeah, not thinking what ball it was.
Oh.
Tease it up like the next hole, bloop.
Ran
And she was
over.
like, oh, and I was like, what ball was that? And she's like, I think it was like a Titleist. And I'm like,
No.
I was like, do you know how
That's
much
a
those
$5
balls are-
golf ball.
Like, you know how much those golf balls are worth? She's like, are they expensive? And I'm like, they're like $60 for like 12 of them. She's like,
Oops.
you didn't have to let me to use it. I'm like, it's fine. Like I found it anyway. So it's not like it was.
$54.97 for a dozen.
That's tough.
Dude,
Oh God.
Yeah. But
they're proud
Okay,
of
so-
them.
Okay, so sorry, Lisa, you're not invited to play golf.
sorry about that.
Let it be known that me and Renfro are also the reigning champs.
You
I
are
didn't do
also-
anything.
You're also Renfro. Do you have that trophy around there with you so that Weston can at least see it?
It's in the other room.
Okay, well,
Go
bring,
get
we'll,
it
we'll
now.
Bring, no, we'll bring it in the next episode. We'll bring it in the next episode so everyone can see it. But Renfro, I know I'm coming up to visit very soon, so I'm gonna have to grab that trophy from you and bring it to
Yep.
Weston. So
Can I at least
yeah,
have it for a little bit?
You can
mean-
take it to Knoxville.
well, we got to get the nameplate put on it.
Yeah.
So I mean, is your dad still gonna do that or?
Yeah, I
Maybe-
can have him do it. I just
okay.
need to get him to do it.
Okay, well maybe whenever I set up a time to come up there, you can get it done before then, so I can bring
Yeah.
it back to Weston. Then Weston
Yep.
can bring it to Knoxville. But
Please misspell Weston's name.
Please
Ma-
don't do
make
that.
it Western.
Squidward Tortellini.
Squidward Tortellini. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
anyway.
Okay. Oh,
Anyway.
losing composure.
We are
It's
so
getting
far off
late.
the
Anyway.
rails.
We are, and we don't got a whole lot to talk about, but we do. So F1 was in F1
Miami.
was in Miami this weekend. Pretty cool. I thought it was a decent race. But the
Dude, the Europeans were hating so damn hard.
yeah,
It was amazing.
yeah, they were.
I
they
mean,
were.
do you blame them for that freaking the yacht
What the
club
hell?
you
I mean,
had?
the yacht thing was.
The yacht thing was stupid, and then they put helmets on.
Yeah, what?
Dude, yes.
on the podium.
Dude, did you guys see the text I sent in the room that said like the helmets aren't it?
I mean,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I get what they were going for, but
It was just poor execution. It was
what made it worse is like, so they had the helmets on and they're carrying the hats that they normally wear
Yeah.
out. It's like it's one or the other. Like, are we gonna do the helm?
I will say though, I did see a picture of Max on the podium. It had the helmet on one side, the hat on the other, and the trophy in the middle. It looked good, but it would have been a lot cooler if it was just like they didn't wear the helmets out. They just had them on like the podium,
Yeah.
instead of them wearing it out. Like make that more of a
They should have
novelty.
started. They should have started doing the Oklahoma drill since they had the helmets on,
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
just
that
on the
would've been-
podium.
That'd have been great.
Max would have probably lit them both up.
I think so.
Because
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
he's
it's
a little
true.
bit bigger than
Dude, did you
Carlos.
see Max try and throw the ball? He threw out the first pitch at the Marlins game, and it
Oh my
looked just awful.
God.
Hold on. Hey, if we got a video of that, we're gonna put it.
I'll get the video.
Okay, we got-
Yeah,
okay,
we'll
and
get the video.
Since we don't have an open spot, we're just gonna put it right there in the middle. Okay. Put it
Yeah.
right there in the middle. That way, it's in full view. But yeah. So we'll get that.
It
up
looks like
there.
it looks like how Renfro would throw it now with that Tommy John he had.
Yeah. That
Yeah. About 10 foot in front of the plate.
was-
Exactly.
if only you hadn't thrown out your arm, you'd have been in the majors right now, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd probably be in a
It's
farm
close.
system somewhere.
Oh
you know?
yeah. Oh yeah. But
So
yeah, I mean, as far as the race goes, I thought it was okay. I mean, I know you guys didn't.
It was a
watch
it was a
watch it.
Formula One race.
Yeah, it was
I
a
watched a
Formula
little
One
bit.
race.
I watched a little bit of it. Like I watched like the rerun of it, but then I fell asleep.
Yeah.
yeah, there was like from lap 12 to like 50, it was a snooze fest. I'm not
I mean,
gonna lie. And then
yeah, there wasn't much.
then the
going
last-
on.
like the last 10, it really kind of heated up.
Well, I mean, once Max got out in front, he was just on cruise control anyways. So it was
Oh, yeah.
typical Max, basically.
I think
Supermax.
Super
Kinda.
Max.
I think it's safe to say that they probably got that powertrain issue figured out.
They're coming for that ass.
I'll tell you what I thought was really cool, and Trey, he brought it to attention how Checo had a issue with something, and then they remote fixed it with him.
via computer.
Yeah, that was crazy. I
I mean,
can't-
that's
I can't
Put the
believe
tech meme here.
Yeah, put tech meme here. No, I don't. I mean, unless you want to send me the tech meme. But
I'll send you the tech meme, and
Okay.
I'll put a Red Bull hat on the guy.
all right, cool. Tech
Oh my
meme there
God.
with Red Bull hat.
so, but yeah, I mean, like, it's crazy. Like, the driver will radio to the team and just say, like, man, like, I feel like there's an issue here with the car, and they immediately can just like go to the computer and pull it up. I'm like, oh yeah, like,
Oh, here's
this
the
is what's
issue.
wrong.
Yeah, it's just crazy how much technology goes into behind those F1 cars. It's
Imagine if you could do that in a sprint car.
Oh my God. We're not
We're
smart
about-
enough.
No,
We're about like, dude, we've got our like version of like Formula One technology is still like is what they're like is what James Hunt was using right now. We're in the 70s version of Formula One for sprint
Man,
cars right now.
we don't even get two-way radios.
We can't even have guys figure out how to wire a micro.
We just now got digital dashes in sprint cars.
Yeah.
Digital dash.
Digital day. But
Yeah. Do the dash. Anyway, Max,
but
they're
yeah,
going to Spain
Max,
next.
They're going to Spain next.
Spain.
Max,
Yeah.
Speaking of snooze fest,
Speaking of
Barcelona's gonna suck.
is it?
Yes, it sucks every year.
Oh, I don't like
I
that.
don't know, man.
I mean, like,
We look forward to Monaco.
Monaco fucking sucks too.
is that after Barcelona?
Yeah.
Barcelona. Yeah, it's on
Memorial Day. It's always
Yeah.
on Memorial Day. So you wake up, Hunter. So what you do is you wake up for Monaco. You afternoon is Indy 500, then at night is the Coke 600.
Yep. It's literally 24 hours of racing.
Yes.
I'm not gonna be able to.
Did you not know this?
I'm not gonna be able to participate in 24-hour racing. Boy.
Come on.
Why?
I will be able to participate a little bit, but there will be video of this. Me and our editor Rose, we are going down to Houston to play in a hockey tournament, like a pretty decent size. Like,
Why was I not picked to be on the team?
Because
You play hockey?
Yeah, I play hockey.
Oh.
Because it was me and him just got invited last minute. This wasn't our team.
You could have been like, I also have another guy.
You want to?
You had
play,
three
I have a
other
head
guys.
coach.
You
I
want
have
to
a
go?
head
Play,
coach.
you want to go play against NHLers and ex NHLers?
Yeah.
No,
I'll
Yeah.
run
No.
somebody.
no, there's no
Yeah,
hitting.
I want
There's
to.
no
I want to go full bar Mexico in front of the Tindy.
hitting. Oh my gosh. But
Weston the
so
whole time.
There will be some video of that, so that'll be pretty cool. We'll be able to show you guys that. But Sunday is championship day for that. So we'll be driving back from Houston.
Oh, you don't plan on playing on Championship Sunday?
No, we will, but like
You're already going to be eliminated?
No, the team we're on won it last year, so we should be.
This
okay.
guy sucks.
Yeah, so maybe we coming home with some hardware. But yeah, so we'll get to watch a little bit coming home. But I don't.
I'll be on the
know.
beach.
Yeah, Renfro will be on the beach.
Oh, yeah, with Lisa.
Wait, so does that mean you're gonna miss that week of pod?
I can
No,
do it on
he'll
my
be
laptop.
Oh, you can
he'll
do
be
it on your
doing
laptop, okay.
he'll be doing the pod live from beach.
Live from beach.
We'll have
Yeah.
to give him like that one dude that's going around like touring the United States with the big green screen.
Green screen.
Yeah.
Carry it
So-
on my back.
Okay,
Yeah.
so now that we like summertime's around, I'm going to the All-Star race. So there's going to be footage of that.
Yes, live footage of
So,
that. as
so
well.
I'll be at the NASCAR All-Star race, even though I'm the biggest NASCAR hater there is. But we're gonna
Yeah.
see how this works. I
I'll-
guess.
I'll be home.
all right.
And then, yeah, I'll be in Houston Memorial Day weekend.
What
so-
are we talking about Memorial Day weekend?
No, you're,
No.
You're
So-
the weekend
no.
before, right?
So next weekend is the All-Star race.
Yeah.
So I will Race Ready Media on location.
Race
I think I need to-
Media via Weston on location.
I'm gonna get one of those like old timey hats that says like press in it.
Oh,
try and
you
go get some
should,
interviews.
Like
Yeah.
the Tribly, I think is what it's called.
I'm gonna have a typewriter.
There's a YouTuber that does pranks, and he snuck into Stanford and brought a typewriter to class. It was hilarious.
saw
I
that.
saw that. I saw that. That was pretty funny. That's pretty funny.
Anyway.
But
Okay.
yeah,
Well,
so-
speaking
Speaking
of
of
the NASCARs.
yes, we can
Yeah.
talk about that kind of. We are sponsored by Off Axis, so we'd be
We had
remiss to talk.
It was-
about
it was-
on off
it was-
access crime.
yeah, it was
Yes,
off axis on off axis crime.
What is this? How do we explain this? Logano
Logano ran into
ran
Byron.
into
That's what happened.
Byron, yes, but I'm
We're
just-
not hating on off axis. I'm hating
No.
on driver.
Yeah, I mean he is off axis, but it's just it's unfortunate. to see.
Joey Logano does not watch this podcast. I don't like Joey.
What if he does? Then we lose a viewer.
I don't care. He's got a
You're
hot
telling
wife
me-
though.
We'll replace him.
Replace him.
Yeah, we'll
I
get
just
Jeff
wanna-
Gordon instead of Logano. We'll
Just
tell
I
William.
want
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah.
To get it. Yeah.
yeah,
Well-
yeah, we're William Byron fans around here. Actually,
Yeah.
no. We're big Tyler Reddick
We're big
fans,
Tyler
actually.
Reddick fans around here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has his own meal at Cheddar's.
He does. Me and
Does
Dev
he
saw,
really?
Me and Dev saw a couple night or like a month ago or something like that.
I'm pretty
I
sure it's
need-
the chicken strips.
Is it-
Nice.
Is it still the deal like where if he finishes in the top 8, like you get some deal at Cheddar's
It's like
on
it's
Monday?
like
Probably.
8% off or something like that, isn't it? 20%.
Oh, what a
8%
deal.
off is
8%.
8% off is nothing in this economy.
True.
It's like 65 cents.
True.
Yeah.
But I'm
Hey.
just saying, like, I think that's how they.
You can maybe get
works.
half of an icy.
Yeah, maybe. Big gulp.
But
Yeah.
7-Eleven sponsor us.
No.
That was the excitement of NASCAR.
Yeah, I mean, and we had
Yay.
there was some.
It was throwback weekend, so that was cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and I wanna pull up my favorite cars right there. The Trackhouse team. Those cars were so sick, dude.
Did you hear?
Shout
what
out to
happened?
shout out to Teresa Earnhardt, you bitch.
What happened?
I'll say that.
She-
I don't care.
She threatened to sue them over
Over the font of the one.
Yeah, for copywriting of the number font. So that's why they tweaked it where you see like it's like from
The
the
slash, the Trackhouse slash.
yeah, like the half circle or whatever, they put like a slash from there like through the one. They're like, all right, it's different.
The 99 and 1 do have the slash in them already, but like they weren't planning on doing that for the one car. She couldn't
Because
do
it's
anything
the
to the 99.
throwback.
Yeah,
Huh.
she couldn't do anything to the 99, but she could do something to the one because like the one was like the exact like paint scheme, like they did it perfect.
Do you think
Except
they
then-
could have? Do you think they could have fought it to where it's like, no, like they're different cars because back then the one was in the middle of the door, and now it's up at the front.
At the front. I mean, probably.
She probably could have gotten like so specific, knowing Teresa Earnhardt and all that bullshit. I told a buddy of mine, I was like, just watch, like something's gonna happen with that one car. Not even like 12 hours later, I saw a tweet that said, "Oh, there's a minor tweak to the throwback."
So, that's actually why, like in Junebug's retirement video, he couldn't use
couldn't
his
use the
number
8.
8.
Yeah, they couldn't. So they like made it to where like you couldn't see the sides, but like you could like like if you like paused it on like certain screens, you can see like there's like the E like that they had back in the day, and the 8 wasn't on there, but like it was a red Budweiser car, and that's why he couldn't take 8 to the to Hendrick because Teresa wouldn't let him. Teresa Earnhardt is not a good person.
That's
No,
unfortunate.
she's living off of her deceased husband.
She's living off Dale.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah,
like
she's
that.
ruined
she-
a lot
she-
of it.
She literally ran. So I will suggest listen to the Ty Norris episode of the Dale Jr. download because like he was the general manager of DEI. And he predicted like they would be like they would fold in like 4 or 5 years, and I mean they had to merge with Ganassi just to stay alive, but I mean they weren't. It was more or less just the Chip Ganassi's team with Dale behind it. So anyway.
Well,
a suggestion for anyone
but yeah, but what I was saying before we got to the retro cars, there
before we started ranting about
before we
Teresa
ranted about
Earnhardt.
Teresa Earnhardt, there was some dramatics in the interview where you could see William and Jeff Gordon talking in the background of one of them, and could
Jeff
overhear
Gordon was
some-
wearing Jordan 1s, by the way.
sick,
Hell yeah.
sick.
Hard.
He's a man of style.
Man of style.
He's a man of class, if you will.
But yeah, you could hear
First
some
class, as Jack Harlow says.
first class.
Stop. That album sucked.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
off the rails again, boys. Off the rails.
There's 3 good songs.
Yeah. Anyway.
But yeah, so
Anywho.
you could hear some
Different topic.
obscenities dropped in that interview. So if I can find the clip of it, we'll put it up. If not, I don't know.
Yeah, I
but,
don't know where it is.
yeah, I don't know if I could find it honestly, but
I'll find it.
okay. Well, Weston said he'll find it. So what else?
Parker
is there?
Price won at Houston's on Sunday. I
Oh,
mean,
that, yeah, that's cool. That's pretty. That's
Pretty
really
cool.
cool.
that's
Good
his
man,
first-
PPM.
Shout out.
That was
Park-
his
shout
first
out.
win since he started leukemia, so that's really cool. And he
Start-
dominated.
wait,
PPM.
started leukemia? You mean started
Or-
chemo?
Or yeah, sorry.
I think leukemia is. Doesn't he have leukemia?
No.
Or doesn't I don't know.
I
I don't
don't
know what
think
he. I
so.
don't know what he has, but no. Shout out to him.
We knew what you meant. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But shout out to him for for getting that win. That was really it's pretty cool. That's really cool actually. Shout out the law firm. That's the best name in racing, by the way. The law firm. That's the best.
Stop.
Name. No,
Stop.
stop. No.
The
no.
Wild Child?
Okay,
Excuse me?
okay. He's not racing no more. Now is
It
he?
don't
It's-
matter.
What about
Doesn't matter.
the North Pole Nightmare?
Okay, that is sick. Okay, I'm
Bill
sorry.
Baylock.
Whatever. Me and my
The Thunder from Down Under.
me and my freezing cold takes. I get it. Okay, leave me alone.
Yeah, shut up.
Or there's the Newport Nightmare. I mean, I don't think any of you guys will know who that is.
I like this guy named Kid Twister.
Kid Twister.
The Newport Nightmare. Isn't that Owens?
Yeah, Jimmy Owens.
Yeah. Kid Twister.
late models.
The real deal, Don O'Neill.
Dude, the late model guys definitely have sick ass racing nicknames.
Yeah, they do.
What about Fast Freddy Raymer?
But
Yeah.
is he
Fast
really
Freddy.
that fast?
I mean, up in PA he is, isn't he?
I mean, yeah.
Hold on, the
I mean,
Concrete Kid. Oh,
That's a
Oh,
good one.
that
That's
just
a good one.
rolls off the
Have
tongue.
you ever heard
The-
if you ask Macri about that nickname, like what he says?
No.
So like you go up to him and you're like, they call you the Concrete Kid, and he's like, yeah, I'm not really the Concrete Kid. He's like, my brother does all the concrete work. I call myself Concrete Cock because I'm the race car driver and fuck all the bitches.
Nice.
I swear to God. I
That's
swear to God.
awesome. Shout out Anthony Macri for that one. Straight.
The
And,
Con-
dude-
like you watch his interviews and you're like, yeah, no, he wouldn't say that.
He wouldn't
but
say that, but he did. Dude, shout out the Concrete Kid. Oh man, we're just
Anyway.
getting off the rails tonight, boys. But we got one more thing to talk about. Supercross, I believe, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Supercross. So
Yeah,
you guys
it's
take
kind
that
of a-
away.
It's over.
It was kind of a boring deal because Tomac wrapped up the points in Denver. I mean, he didn't.
Yeah.
Even Denver was a boring race because he literally had to finish just finish pretty much. I mean, he had to finish 14th to not lock it up. And
Jason Anderson won 4 races in a row.
yeah, and what
Yeah.
sucks is like it didn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Like you win 4 races in a row and you still finish second in points.
Yeah.
But how about Mookie?
Kinda,
Mookie rounding up the podium in the points.
Shout out. Yeah. Can we? Yeah. Actually, I did see this. We need to talk about this. Bam Bam, I hate you.
Who's Bam Bam?
God, I completely drew Justin Barsha.
Don't know who
Right?
that is, but go ahead. Go off, King.
51, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. He straight up just he body slammed Malcolm Stewart. That was horrible.
dude, I
That
saw a
sucks.
video of that and I was like, wow.
Do we
Weston is
have a video
work-
of that?
I'm worked up over Malcolm Stewart. I was a hater whenever he and Anderson were running into each other. Now I'm defending him because
Do we have a video of this?
we'll get a video of it. Yes,
All
right here.
Right there.
Now.
Right there.
Okay, but anyway, but yeah, so Barsha just completely ran into him, and then the crowd's booing him. He's like, "Well, I'm racing for my living and blah blah blah." I'm like, my brother in Christ, you just kind of you ran over him. You didn't race him. You just ran him over.
Like
So,
came off and like didn't even try and turn.
no, didn't like just straight
Straight
line
into
him.
his left leg.
Yeah.
It was bad.
So yeah. Anyway,
He got
so
he got what, a penalty and like fined 10 points or something.
yeah, that's the
Yeah.
first thing that Supercross.
Yeah.
They're not really. That's the first like good officiating job Supercross has done in a while. I
they
think.
fined Mookie and Anderson earlier this season for
They did.
running.
And that's why I said it's the first good thing they've done in a while.
Oh, that's true, I guess.
But,
Anyway.
And then 250s Thrasher, Lawrence, Brown. Kind of another. And that was a
Snoozer.
little more. That one was a little more exciting. I mean, Christian Craig tried to throw that points title away. He was just cruising because he had to also finish 14th or better if Hunter Lawrence won, and he goes down. And I mean, but they were so spread out. He only lost like 2 positions. I mean, it wasn't really that big of a deal.
I'm excited to actually be able to get into Supercross in this next season.
Well, it's over now.
no,
Yeah.
then in the next season. In the next season.
Yeah.
Not,
Okay.
No, not in the next season because I'll be able to start fresh, just like I did with.
Well, there's
Formula One.
outdoor if you want to try to get into that.
I'm not even into outdoor.
Okay, so see, I mean,
Outdoors kind of cool.
Dude,
Yeah.
their jumps are
They're
massive.
huge.
Yeah.
closest thing I've got to seeing outdoor was when Renfro was playing the game on.
Oh, MX bikes?
Yeah, that was you and Garrett were playing that one night.
Yeah.
Dude, the
But-
one night in Discord, you trying to describe all the buttons to Garrett.
that
I was
was
like,
so
I don't
funny.
ever want to play this. Like
That
that
is
sounds
so
horrible.
That's the
funny.
worst part of that game. If they could update it and make the buttons like 10 times
Simple.
easier.
Well,
Yes.
they just need to come out with handlebars like they did with the steering wheels. You can
like
put
a
on
steering, that
handlebars.
would be sick. Or
Like
like
you-
if you could like have a bike Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Instead of a steering wheel, you get handlebars. So you can,
we're on to something.
I Supercross.
Cross.
Hold on, might be onto something here. That's patent pending, by the way. No one steals that idea. Weston,
We're
hey,
not smart enough to get it off the ground.
Huh?
I got a question for you. In our interview with Lisa, did Cowboy Troy come in and start
Yes.
talking to you?
Yeah.
I saw
Yeah,
that.
I was like, hey, like go away, like I'm busy right now. And
I
like he
saw
was like,
that.
so like he was like standing in the corner of the closet. He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm potting with the boys. He's like, what? Like, he's like, well, who are the boys? I'm like, Hunter, Renfro, and Dev. And they're like, it's like, oh, okay. So then he finally walked out.
I
But-
saw that, and I was just
Yeah.
kind of struck. Also in the interview, I almost died laughing at one point because I was sitting there listening to Lisa, and then I scanned all the way across the top row and then down into I think Renfro, you were down there on the podcast, in the interview, but I scanned all the way across and then down and saw everyone in their shirts, and for some reason it made me like want to die laughing. I saw it and I was like I almost couldn't keep composure. I was like, for whatever reason, that just was the funniest thing to me. Everybody in their shirts, it was so funny. But
We look like the dumbest fucking cult.
That's fine.
It was so awesome.
It
That
was awesome.
so awesome. Oh man,
What sucks is, who was that IndyCar driver that?
Tony
Uh,
Renna.
Renna.
So, if I'm understanding this correctly, if she won that quarter midget race, she would have been an IndyCar driver, right? Like that.
Yeah.
God damn it.
I mean, but like she
Anyway.
said in the interview, he also was killed in the IndyCar. So
Yeah.
At least he went out doing what he loves.
I guess so. But
Yeah. Anyway.
boys, I don't want to keep this episode going too long. It was already a super long interview. Any final notes before we wrap it up? We'll definitely get into more next week. Since hopefully the Outlaws will be
Yes.
running this week, and hopefully other things will be running this week we can talk about. We'll
Yes.
also have an updated fantasy points as well. We'll have an updated fantasy
No,
points.
we need to stop that. Nobody gives two shits about what we're doing.
Yes,
on
we
the
do.
out.
Okay,
Yes,
they
fine.
do.
No more updated fantasy points.
They're
fine.
they're haters. I want to know
Okay.
live
Well,
on
you
air.
You can just send them a text and
Okay,
ask
I'll
them.
just
Fine.
send you a text. Okay, never mind.
Okay,
but
well, anyway,
but hopefully
alright.
the Outlaws do race and don't get rained out again, and hopefully I think the All Stars race this weekend. I think is USAC races this weekend.
USAC's in Missouri. Well, Lakeside,
Oh,
US 36,
yeah.
and I-70.
Yeah. So this should
Can
be
we
a lot to
get
talk about.
live on location, Renfro? If you're
Probably
going.
not.
I was
Okay,
say,
never mind.
I talked to Riley. He was considering going back to I-70.
Yeah, I had lunch with him today, and he said that was his plan. If he was going anywhere, it was I-70.
Yeah, that was.
Redemption.
Hold on. Should we put the video in of that crash? I mean, that was pretty gnarly. Riley's crash.
I mean, he's still here.
Yeah, so why
Yeah.
not? All right there. Riley's crash from I-70 a year ago. So
Where he
It was
won
like a
Big
year ago
Air
last
and
week.
he won Big Air and
Welcome to X Games Big Air.
Welcome to X Games.
That
Big
was
Air.
also the weekend Wayne Johnson and Aaron Reitzel fought.
Oh yeah.
Ah, that was.
Oh
Hey,
yeah.
was it?
He
was
threw
it
a bike
you?
at him.
Yes.
Was it you or Brenda that had the
Brenda
footage?
has the full video
Yeah.
of like everything.
That's sick.
God, I love Brenda.
Yeah. Super awesome.
Have to.
But
Okay.
but yeah, boys. So we're gonna wrap it up here. We hope you guys enjoyed the interview, and we'll be back next week with just a regular episode. I don't think we have anyone coming on next week. So yeah, as for me, for Devin, for Weston, and also now as
Renfro.
for Renfro. Yes, nice to have you, buddy. Everybody, take it easy, and we'll see you next week. Later, guys.
Bye.
Lighter.
Peace.